Oh,
Oh,
wait, I know. There we go. We figured it out. The sound should be back. Oh my god, that was yeah. That one was my mistake. Yeah, totally, that one was my mistake. I apologize for that. Well, let's start this over then, shall we?
Monday morning is as well something else.
It's crazy because the first thing I was saying was that we're going to broadcast to ourselves. We're going to comment on our own show and reply to our own comments. And I do not know the whole time I had ourselves muted. So that's
We were doing some tests earlier. That's what happened.
epic fail. Okay. Stagnation, crypto warriors, good morning and welcome back to the show.
Champions.
Happy Monday to everyone, man. It's another spectacular one. We are in here. BK Crypto in the house, of course. Good morning to you, sir. And of course, we have Chloe Dior in the house as well.
That's somebody
I
new.
like that name, man. That
Yeah.
sounds official as hell.
Hi, Chloe.
I like it, man. It's like if someone emailed me and the name was Chloe Dior in the signature, you just know that you should reply to that email. It's
Hey.
something serious.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Well, look, man, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on
Mad crazy stuff.
in the crypto space, Bitcoin space, regulation, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of negative energy out there right now.
Even in the general market, it's
Exactly, right?
Tesla is pumping though.
This is true. Tesla is, kind of on a boat of its own. However, here's the thing. Sometimes if you just take a step back, okay, and just take a look at the insanity that is unfolding before our eyes, it's an incredible movie. And I think there's going to be, I'm sure there'll be a documentary on this one day. It would be cool if, if we're the ones that make it. But I'm not really in the documentary business. Okay. So we'll just point out these things here. And we'll like to just analyze this situation. As you guys see the title, okay, we're talking about King of FUDs or sore losers based on the sequence of events that have unfolded in this man's life.
One and
All right.
only
Exactly.
Mr. Wonderful.
Exactly. Bigger Crypto says sue Happy Gensler. The whole situation with the SEC. I hope that this points out to people how much of a loose canon of an environment we are in right now, right? It's Wild West, if you could say. There is no checks and balances, it seems like anymore, right?
In America's
Yeah,
governance
in
and
America's
policies.
governance as a whole, right? We have the executive branch over here just writing checks out of freaking nowhere with no balances, and no one is saying anything about it.
Yep.
All right, Ginsler is over there on his own end, just doing what he feels like. But I think that all of these things will have to be accounted for one day. Double, what are we talking about today,
Today we are talking about Mr. Wonderful, one and
man?
only Kevin O'Leary.
Mr. Kevin O'Leary.
It would be a great thing to talk about the SEC, but talking about Kevin O'Leary is kind of indirectly talking about GG as well. And you're going to find out in today's video.
Hey, let's do this thing. So here's the incredible thing. What we're about to show you here is Kevin O'Leary, the greatest Bitcoin educator. Actually, something that I do not know. This man is aware of Bitcoin. He knows what it is, right? And we all see that he does not necessarily present himself that way, right? So this video here is from 2017. Is it? No, sorry. Is it 2017? 2013.
Yeah,
20, okay.
Yeah.
Bitcoin was trading, ranging between $20 and I don't know, maybe $200. And here's what Kevin O'Leary had to say about Bitcoin back then, right?
So this is part of what I was saying, that when you talk about Kevin O'Leary,
right,
you almost could also be talking about GG of the SEC, because around that same time was when GG himself, Gary Gensler, was pushing Algorand and pushing Bitcoin as the only blockchain.
That is actually something that people don't think about a lot. Gary Gensler used to shoe crypto.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, let's play this one.
Ride for Bitcoin, the internet currency we've talked about on this program. If you follow it yesterday, you'll know it lost 60% of its value. This was just after it hit a record high of $266. Now, though, it's already starting to come back up again. Just 2 months ago, each Bitcoin was worth only $20. And now, as you heard, it's huge. All of that volatility in the value of Bitcoins has some economists wondering if there is a Bitcoin bubble and if Bitcoins really have a future as a currency. Kevin O'Leary is our business commentator and the chair of O'Leary Funds. We know he has a thought or two on that. Nice to see you in studio again this morning. Number, what's going on with this like huge rise from $20 way up into the hundreds and then a precipitous fall yesterday?
Well, let's remember that until yesterday, most people around the world never heard of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, for those who don't know it, is basically virtual currency, the same that you would get for blasting aliens in a video game, except now traded globally. You can buy Bitcoins with virtually any currency on Earth and convert back into any currency or buy goods and services with it.
Well, we talked about the story. What really got us talking about Bitcoin was the guy in Edmonton who was selling his house for the first time, wanted 400,000 in Bitcoins.
So I think the best way to look at this is a proxy for the mistrust individuals have of central bankers. If you're willing to take Bitcoin as a currency, a virtual Barbie currency to me, it has no basis, no central banker, no hard asset behind it. But if you don't trust any other currency, this is where you go. So it's essentially what's happening here, Heather. People all around the world are saying, I've had it with my central banker. I don't trust politicians anymore. I'm going to trade with this currency with my computer and my cell phone.
Well, they did that. Right. The reason.
So there it is. We have Kevin. By the way, Mt. Gox was still live back then, man.
That was that chat, right? So like
incredible stuff.
When you see the attack on Coinbase, when you see the attack of Binance, Mt. Gox was the Binance of the time, right?
Yeah.
And Bitcoin went down 60%, right? And that was from $20 to $20 back to $100 back then, right?
Exactly.
And folks are like, "Oh, Binance is gonna crash. Oh, Bitcoin is dead." Right. Really, this is a good example.
Yeah, we've seen that. There's always that massive run and then like 60 to 80% pullback. It's happened like 2 or 3 times. I think we're in the 3rd time or the 4th time. So I'm wondering where it goes to next. However, going back to Mr. O'Leary there. I mean, clearly the guy understands what Bitcoin is. He has had Bitcoin since when it was $20. It's safe to say that at this point, right? Because I mean, he said it himself. He's heavily into the Bitcoin. Now, we'll fast forward to, I think this is 2017 now, right? And we'd like to get everyone's thought on this. Same guy, right? Same asset. Nothing has changed about Bitcoin. However, this time you could say he's making a ton of money on Bitcoin because at this point, Bitcoin is now at $8,000. Here is what he has to say about Bitcoin. Oh, man. All right. Oh, wait, play.
Bitcoin alert here. The cryptocurrency topping 8,000 for the first time since July. There are several potential explanations for this rally, including positive sentiment around crypto conventions in New York this week, a potential safe haven from the U.S.-China trade war, and greater institutional support. For example, reports earlier this month said Facebook is building a crypto-based payment system. Traders are also saying that Chinese buyers were using Bitcoin to circumvent the country's capital controls on the yuan. So Chinese investors in China trying to get their money out and using Bitcoin as the vehicle. And that's supposedly one explanation for much more on this later in the show.
Out of Bitcoin. Once you put your money into Bitcoin, you hear people say that they are challenged to sometimes sell.
Really?
To sell in volume.
Oh, in volume.
In volume.
Try and do a transaction over $100,000 with Bitcoin. I tried to do some real estate in Switzerland with it once. It is a useless currency. It is a useless currency. That's what I believe. I mean, look, I'm not, I realize people have different opinions, but to me, it's garbage. Because you can't
doo-doo? I mean,
you can't get in and out of it in large amounts. And everybody says, yes, you can. But what happens is the receiver wants some guarantee. Let's say you want to buy a piece of real estate for $10 million in Switzerland.
Let's just say.
Let's just say. Yeah. And they don't want to use the traditional transfer system, all right? Now, which is illegal, by the way, because you have to disclose why you're transferring $10 million over Switzerland. They want to guarantee that the value comes back to U.S. currency at 10. You have to somehow hedge the risk of Bitcoin. That means it's not a real currency. That means the receiver is not willing to take the risk of.
Yeah. Same guy
in the previous video. Notice 2013, you could already trade Bitcoin for a property, like an actual house, $4,000 in purchase. They said it. Same video 3 years ago, 2013. You could already trade in Bitcoin. PayPal, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, you could do that. So now what changed? Is it the thing that these guys that get into the business before everybody else, they just have this mindset of flooding everybody out of the market so that they can take advantage? Because at that point, it's trying to force you to sell.
Yeah.
because he already got in at $20 3 years ago.
Yeah.
At $8,000, it's trying to get you to sell.
I mean, there's only two ways about it, right? You could also look. I don't know if you could short Bitcoin at this point. I don't think Bitcoin futures were existing at that time. But let's see what people in the comments have to say about this one, because it's beyond my mind. Because this is, oh man, what a and I think this keeps evolving, right? And we start getting to the point where we realize that this guy may also have regulators in his pocket, right? Again, from Chloe, Grand Rising from the wild, wild West Coast. This is true. It is a wild, wild West.
It is.
Right? I think this would probably be probably summarize what we just saw there. Boom. Right? Yeah. Shape-shifting Trojan horse mofo with a bald head. That's what I'm saying. What am I saying? I also have a bald head, man. Oh, well. But yes, I would say that's what it is, man. Shape-shifting. At the same time, man, you could also look at this as manipulation, because whatever his strategy is, right? At this point in time, maybe forwarding the thing to short it might be a good idea.
Yep.
Right. Secondly, he could be a sore loser. Maybe he sold before it got to 8,000, thinking it was not going to get there, and so now he's trying to forward it back down so he can get back in.
Maybe he played the shot and is trying to push the shot to come down.
Because you can see there that as this Bitcoin chart is rising, let me share the screen again here.
Yeah,
as you look at that Bitcoin screen there,
point,
right? There was a pullback.
Yep.
Right, where he's somewhere there around 7,000, and maybe he's now out here to fought the thing again. However, it's very clear that he's been in the space for a long time, right? And he's now moved on. He's graduated on to engage in some other dealings, which I think we could all agree that he was the sole loser in this situation. We're talking about the FTX situation right now, right? And it shows a trend in this person's behavior, in this investor's behavior. Let's call it that. Don't know the man personally, right? Which makes you wonder, can you trust him or any other people like him that are supposed to be credible?
Especially when they are the one that they select to come on national TV. Because most of them are investors. So as they shorted the market, and now is it trying to get you to sell so that his shorts can come into the profit? I always think about that, guys.
There's always the manipulation going on, man. We have, let's see here, BK Crypto left a comment before we play the video here.
Yep.
Let's look at some comments here. BK Crypto says, the video doesn't lie. That is very facts, of course, right? And they're all full of shit. He wanted to pull the train back. I would say so. You know what I mean?
That's what they do.
And it's insane that there are people who have the clout and the ability to do this. And speaking of pulling the train back, as we move forward, I think that we're going to see further evidence that he has that capability. Because if you notice, one thing I want to point out, I think we've all noticed that Kevin O'Leary is one of the people who is always talking about regulations, bringing crypto into regulations. We need regulations to get institutions into the space. He even came to Bitcoin 22, right? There. Saying we need to get Bitcoin regulated, whatever that means, right? Getting Bitcoin regulated. But let's check this out and see where this goes from here.
Money you lost in the contract, but I also want to understand how the investment and this ambassadorship happened at the time that it happened. You did disclose it, but I want to understand how you went from calling crypto garbage at one point, as you know, to deciding that this was something that you were going to stand behind.
Yes, I recall that conversation, calling it garbage, right here on this show in 2017. That was a time when a New York hotel was being tokenized here, and I was looking at that, and the regulator let me know they were not happy with that idea. And that's when I stepped away from this, because clearly the regulatory environment was not prepared. Then facts changed. I saw the Canadians issue the first ETF with Bitcoin as underlying, Ethereum, then Switzerland opened up, then Australia opened up. And then I said, wait a second, world's changing, I got to be an investor. And that started my journey. I'm an investor in the largest regulated exchange in Canada, called WonderFi. The wallets are called BitBuy. We're regulated by the OSC. I have my accounts up there. Right. But I felt that getting involved when I was approached with Sam Bankman-Fried, that I could get an inside seat on what was considered then. And I got it.
So, just a couple things I just want to, just some points to note here, right? The regulators informed this man ahead of time that they were not happy with what they saw, right? We could say this is inside information, right?
Regulators in Canada.
Exactly.
How is that different from the regulators in New York City?
Exactly.
Almost the same.
So, he's clearly admitted that they gave him the info. And then we also have this aspect of him trying to get an inside seed, right?
That's fully insider trading.
This is exactly, you want inside seed to FTX. Right, you're not just trying to be, I don't know, I guess an investor
so
like everybody else.
You own an exchange in Canada,
yeah,
and now you're trying to buy into an exchange in America.
Yeah,
that is how this guy's becoming
billionaires. Notice the emphasis on regulated.
Yep.
Right, like that is his bread and butter. So
in 2017, while he was saying that Bitcoin was nothing, you cannot use it to transfer, he also knew that an hotel was being tokenized in New York City.
Yeah,
that is a counter. So he's lying on national TV.
Crazy. I think at this point in time we'll pass the line, man.
And
this
he's
guy
talking
is,
to regulators to get involved in FTX.
Yeah, I mean, this is what he's saying. Unless we're misinterpreting this thing, it's crazy to me.
Tell us, guys, why are you guys listening?
Well, let's play this on here. It's not insider trading when you're the insider.
This guy needs to be investigated. That's the facts.
Exactly. I'm going to wrap this one up here.
The institutional interest in FTX on the U.S. equity was unbelievable. The amount of people that approached me saying, how do I get a piece of this deal? And I said at that time, I am a paid spokesperson. I cannot bring you as an LP. Not a single dollar that I lost is anybody else's money except mine. That's important for me because that's an issue.
How much were you paid?
Total deal was just under $15 million, all in, including a bunch of agents and that I had to pay because I needed SAG.
So FTX paid him $15 million to change his mind on crypto, right? And on the next video, we're going to see the consequence of this, because this is where CZ comes in. And this is where I'm saying this is a movie, man. This is a movie, right? But yeah, Double O, go ahead. What do you think of that situation there?
Insider trading, access to the regulators, which is why he made the decision to join FTX, right?
Yeah.
He used his own money because he knew that the regulators was behind FTX, which is another proof that FTX was fully supported by the regulators. That is why FTX 2.0 is coming back in Q3 or Q4. Whereas at the same time, they are suing Binance, suing Coinbase, suing Kraken. Whereas the same SEC that is suing all the other exchanges is actually supporting the major fraud. And it's been telling you this has been going on since 2017.
I would say also notice Kevin O'Leary did try to get an inside seat on Binance and was rejected.
Mm-hmm.
Tried the same with Coinbase and was rejected, right? And it's interesting, he got it with FTX. And now the SEC is attacking those firms. And according to what you're saying, there's a plan for FTX to return. Insane. Obviously, CZ did not take too nicely to this. So he made a long post, a thread. You know, it's when people go on Twitter and they give you that first line, then they hit you with a thread. You know, it's time to buckle in, right? You gotta insanity.
Spend some time.
Exactly.
1 of 11.
Right. So we have CEO thread going on here. It says $15 million not only changed Kevin O'Leary's mind about crypto, also made him align with fraudsters. Essentially referring to Sam Bankman-Fried in this case, right? So this man, as we know, CZ went absolutely crazy with it, right? 11-piece thread. Okay, complete with facts or facts.
You know what's funny about SBF?
What's that?
SBF's father and SEC, GG, friends used to work in the same department.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're all
at MIT.
Yeah, there's a lot of collusion in this space, man. It's incredible.
Guys, when was the last time you heard about SBF? Is he in jail right now with all the fraud that he did with people's money? No.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Well, let's run through these ones here. Almost running out of time. So we know that CZ called O'Leary out, essentially.
The fact that there's no records, that's not a problem to him. So he just want to talk to Sam and believe whatever Sam says. He doesn't want to look at the records. And if you look, and he wants to omit all the small spendings, $50 million, $200 million. $200 million of small spending, that's very convenient. He says he didn't know that Binance was a shareholder of FTX. So he invested in FTX without looking at the cap table. But he was very specific in the way he counts for a transaction 2 years ago. So that's kind of contradictory. So I think Calvin's a liar. So
yeah.
So
straight up
makes you wonder if Kevin is the one behind SEC's attack on Coinbase and and Binance?
I don't know. We're just piecing some dots here, folks, right? Let us know what you think, right? Because you've seen this situation go down. We've clearly seen there is motive. If we're investigators, we could say that. And we also see that now Kevin O'Leary is back and he is absolutely viciously attacking. We've seen when he went to Congress, right? We don't have time to play all of it, but
it's a ton.
He's been attacking Binance and Coinbase ever since. And it's interesting. Could we say that this same thing could be attributed to the recent downturn?
Kevin does have the SEC in his back pocket.
Hey,
that's a fact.
There's some regulator somewhere that is definitely moving things at his desire.
Yep.
I would think that's something that we can sort of consider. Well, let's look at some comments if we have any more before we go. BK Crypto says it's not insider trading when you're an insider. Yeah, it's just trading inside at that point. It's not
trading inside.
Yeah, it's just inside.
I like that.
Right. And of course, William Justice says accountability seems to vary widely depending on the surname.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Facts of life.
Yep. I have some comments I had here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as people are going through this current fear, I just want to remind you that during the COVID situation, the market went down 62%, negative 62%. China ban, negative 50%. Mt. Gox acts by the Russian, which recently the Department of Justice just fined. It wasn't crypto or Bitcoin or the blockchain that got hacked. It was the exchange that got hacked.
Right.
And the same government, not the same department, is going after the hacker of the exchange, right? And they've recently just found those Russians that act Mt. Gox. Do you know that the entire market went down negative 83% during that time? Right? Now you have Luna and the FTX, market went down negative 61%. So now this is happening again, but each time it has gone down, it has gone back up.
Yeah, and it goes up by a ridiculous amount. So zoom out, I would say, something like that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us this morning. It's always an incredible one. Please subscribe to our channel, right? STAKK. Follow us on Twitter, STAKKFin. When it comes to Facebook and Instagram, we really don't give a shit. We got to remove that from our stuff, okay? We'll put, what is that one over there? Rumble. We'll put Rumble in there. And then, of course, we're also on Spotify, STAKK. Let's see. Loading up on altcoins or nah?
No, we just trading Dogecoin to buy Bitcoin. That's what we do right now.
Yeah, I just have like some Dogecoin and Bitcoin as well. Mostly, it's like 90% Bitcoin and like tiny bit of not really messing with any altcoins.
Not touching altcoins, man.
We'll wait and see what happens in that situation. Now, hey, listen, I'm not saying that I'm just keeping my mind open with it. I'm just not taking the risk yet. If things change, we always have to stay sharp to check for those evolving situations.
We're very focused on the freedom fight.
Yes, the freedom fight is very important.
It's the biggest one right now, not the money-making schemes.
Well, no, I'm not. Yeah, that's you. Let me speak for myself. I want to make money at all times. I don't care, bro. I'm not going to bullshit you. Money must be made, because if we don't make money, we can't do anything else, okay? So money must be made. I'm not going to be two ways about that.
You can be out here like Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Using your back pocket.
Yeah.
I have one comment though. CPI inflation Tuesday, PPI inflation Wednesday.
Yeah.
The Fed meeting Wednesday, retail sales data Thursday. This week is going to be mad crazy. These are some of the external forces that move prices up and down, so just keep an eye for that.
Sounds like a potentially volatile week.
Yes, right? Sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you have a spectacular week. There we go. All right. And until next time, praise and out.